Heroes and Legends. Future. The Fall of Scholastica. Madonian and the forces of the Emoria's plan had finally arrived at the capital planet, Ui, as Emperor Ui and his wife Rose and his family and their allies were celebrating the 5th year of rulership. Lord Madonian had returned. A cry came out. Uyui then came disoriented, mumbling to himself, "Madonian? How? It can't be. But he's supposed to be dead. How? What?" He had lost all cohesion and common sense. The great calculated Uyui had fallen to dismay. So his second closest sibling, Rio, to the south of the central island fortress, and his wife Rose to the north of him, guarded him in the center, commanding the armies. It was consisted of the Yui faction, the family, the siblings, and the dimensional forces. The new Madonian forces, some had a little bit of troops and mostly the officers, as they wanted to prove their might against the Scholastic army, just the Ui family and the dimensional forces. From the right and left, it's going to be enemy reinforcements. From the left would be the forces of the Milky Way that were coming, and from the right, the remaining Scholastic forces, the UB, the Collegian, the Scholastica, and other Scholastican forces. Madonian and others had to act quickly before these forces arrived. They gave it the hordes of dimensional forces in front of them for their part in the main camp. Kala, Tashan, Sototoi, the second Mozi, Madonian himself, they are fighting supplier forces, and Helix was about to advance the camp, but the main Imolzi, the first one, was fighting him. And the Plasti, Madonian, the new Madonians, Halbert, Volta, Orspool, and FC2, and Vaslo were going to the right to defeat the enemy front line and to get by. Going to the center right fortress to face Nasu was that of Nilif and Nachi, the returning generals that had their clones die in the Second Madonian Empire, but now have returned to serve their lord's side one more time. On the center left was that of Stegu and Stanya, and attacking the fortress where the Del clan were Vulture and Seas and Clef L, hungering for vengeance, was attacking the Risi army to get to the first Yui persons he saw, which was Mona in the far northwest, and Invis and Obi of the Bathran were going to surround and completely surround the Del clan in order to get them to surrender to them. First, all the Bathran would be united, and thus all Madonian would be united. The war was going smoothly as the shocked and overwhelmed and greatly surprised dimensional Scholastica forces were being defeated. Madonian led the front lines, encouraged his men to fight. His men successfully beaten back the frontline troops. Universal Arbor had met his end, and Helix had passed away and been defeated. Inverse had completely surrounded the Del. Beiji and Putin Del reluctantly had no choice but to surrender. Instead of fighting against their former allies, they ran away, scared, back to their dimension for safety. Inverse knew, but he had won. Seeing the plight of the situation, and that this might be the end for the Empire, Plastar 50 told Neville to run to the closet room, on being a Tigeron. Neville said, "No, I could still fight. Blast 50 then pushed her away and said, "You must go. I will protect you." She cried reluctantly as she fled. Blast 50 moved to the front lines as the Macedonian forces were moving up. The triplets of social, humanities, and law were at the left-hand side, and they too were advancing, as Mid and Four were guarding the main fortresses that blocked the center island. And so, instead of advancing further to the center island, Macedonian told his officers to stay and wait for the Milky Way and the Collagen and the UB forces and that of the other Scholasticans to come, defeat them, and then move to the center. This plan went smoothly as each imperial lord was falling one by one to the Macedonian forces. And when the other Scholasticans arrived, Nada was pissed. "How could this be?" he said. "If only I joined the last battle, we could have wiped out all of Macedonia, and still, we will not be in this mess." And then Marissa Ami told her belligerent husband, "No, these are new people. Lord Macedonian sees Stada, Vulture, Cairo Macedonian, and Macedonian's children. These are not the same Macedonians we fought. Even if we destroyed all of Macedonia, we still would be in the same situation." And then, Major Harold was stunned by all of this. They couldn't believe it. The forces of Macedonian had risen. And then Imolzi noticed Marissa Ami was there. He said, "So she has come. I will capture you. Your brilliance will belong to me, or you will die in this battle." Nado, pissed off that Imolzi were trying to go after his wife once again, decided to go after him. The two were clashing. As the Macedonians continued to fend off against the enemy waves of reinforcements, the UV clan were defeated, but they did not die, but retreated somewhere deep in the forest. Anyway, after long skirmishes of battle, eventually 4 men were defeated, and the center castle was being, infiltrated. But before this infiltration, Jezza Rose ordered her cannons to fire upon the enemy's main camp, as the front line was getting less and less theirs and more Macedonian. Macedonian told his forces to move quickly to destroy these cannons, so their forces could advance safely. And then as they got around, they defeated Rhea, who retreated, and Jezza Rose was slain by the enemy, stunned that she lost her empire, her love, and interdimensional forces, who survived since the very beginning of this chaos, had fell when they left the dimensions and into the universe. As at this time, Uyui recovered from his shock, and was full of rage at all his plans and everything that he tried to do. All his family and friends were either dead or dying or ran away. Uyui showed his true might against Macedonian and vowed to destroy him. Macedonian had no use for Uyui, so him dueling him was very important. However, it was the tree of knowledge that he was after. Uyui was stunned. "Why want the tree of knowledge for? Macedonian, what do you know?" Macedonian told him, "You're nothing but a puppet of all of this. Allow me to put you out of your misery, so you can join your sister in the next life." And then Macedonian and the others, helped with his officers, defeated Uyui. And just then, the spirit arose from the tree. It was none other than Banderas Yui. Macedonian was correct. Everyone else was stunned. The father of the Yui clan had appeared, and he said, "Macedonian, so you've come to rule in my empire, it seems. But it seems the Yui clan will have no choice but to rule under my leadership." And then behind Banderas came giant arms of lightning proportions and tentacles as well, as he is ready to fight. Macedonian others prepare for war. But Banderas laughed and said, "Not here," and he disappeared. The chief disappeared further into a temple, the temple of forbidden knowledge. We had 2 circling sides open from the bases that secured the center island. The Macedonian forces had to split their forces in 2 to deal with these forces inside, mostly the siblings of the Uyui. and Super Mono had come, since Mono, original boy, was completely destroyed by the vengeful Clef L during the battle, and getting past them was not easy because they were immortal. And so Madonian and Molzi and Madonian's children, Sodokoi and Tashon, moved forward and went straight after Banderas. And then Naruto somehow returned. I don't know what's going on, he said. Trees, a new character, some dead father raising up from the dead. No matter. All I want is to kill Madonia. And I curse him Molzi. And Molzi then had to face Naruto and said, "My lord, I'll deal with this Naruto fool. You must destroy the tree of knowledge." Now this Madonian was fighting against the quickness and the swiftness of the power of Banderas. The tree of knowledge then started uprooting itself and using its roots to swing against the Madonian forces as the tree of knowledge and Banderas were fighting together. And so Madonian and his children moved forward to deal with this new threat. His children went to deal with the tree as Madonian went in his powers and his extended taser weapon, whatever. After some time, during a magnificent fight, Madonian overcame the sold out Banderas. Was able to defeat him and cut the tree down. With this, the forbidden knowledge was no more. And with this, the immortality of the Yui clan was over. And the siblings of Ueyui, excluding Ueyui himself, are now finally being laid to rest. In the end, only Naru, Arisami and their forces, and Eve Yubi survived and were able to escape deep in their own other Scholastican galaxy, as the Scholastica, the Collegian, Orient Yubi, the Yui clan, the Milky Way forces, and the Mental forces, except for the Del clan who surrendered and Malin Neville who survived. With this, the war was over, but Madonian was not finished. He then raised up his hands and set his energies out across the cosmos to the dead space that was eternally marked by the effects of the first spin as the eradicated species. Madonian, this time well aware of their existence, brought them back to life with his newfound power, based on the last bit of knowledge he ciphered from the knowledge of the tree. And with this, all those lost species and their peoples had returned. Thus, the universe was fully populated once again. And now, Madonian Empire was now re-established for a third time, making them the most numerous empire, the empire that went the most numerous times in the universe. And with that, the Scholastica, and dimensional forces and the Milky Way forces were now no more.